Hey my sweet pen friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Devin. Today we are going to flip through my very first fully completed bullet journal. This is a very exciting moment for me because I've been trying a lot of different planning systems throughout the time that I've been sharing all of that here on YouTube. And finally, when I found bullet journaling, I felt as though I could commit to something. I think the reason why the bullet journal system works so well for me is because I was able to make changes along the way. I wasn't restricted to any one format. If you watch some of my other bullet journal videos, you'll know that this wasn't the first notebook that I used for bullet journaling. I actually started in a Mikkel reuse notebook, so if you haven't seen that, I'll have it linked in the cards and in the description box below. Eventually, I moved into this. To archive this notebook, I went ahead and put a little label here that says August through March 2021, and that is the time that I spent inside this bullet journal. This notebook is a Flight Diary of Love notebook. I'll have that linked in the description box below as well. On the cover, I just added a sticker from one of my favorite animes, which is Haikyuu. If you really enjoy like team sports or volleyball, I highly recommend it. And on the sticker, it has Hinata and Kageyama, two of the characters from the show. When you open up the notebook, there is a little page here where I put my name as well as my email in case I lost my bullet journal, but for the most part I keep my bullet journal at my desk. I rarely ever take it out with me. Originally I left these two pages blank and I didn't return to them until a little ways into my bullet journal just because I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with it, but eventually I decided to do a little washi tape spread. These are just a few swatches of washi tape rolls that I actually finished during the time that I spent in this bullet journal. And on the right hand side, I have a custom stamp that I actually had the opportunity to design with no issue. This was my first time using that stamp, so this page was very, very special for that reason. These next two pages were reserved for a table of contents, which as you can see, I haven't done. I was hoping to have it done by the time that I sat down to film this video, and I thought about putting off this video so that I could set it up, but honestly, things have just been so busy and I am really not sure when I'll be able to sit down and go through and archive all of my spreads. So I apologize that it's not ready to share, but you guys are gonna see everything that's in here anyway. The first month that I spent in this notebook was August, and I love the spread. I love that it incorporates a lot of color, and this was featuring my Korean foodie stickers, which these are on my shop. I think I still have a few of these in stock on my shop, so if you want to check that out, I'll have it linked in the description box below. I love how cluttered and also organized this spread is. I fit a lot of stuff into my monthly spreads, and you'll see that that sort of changes over time, but I still like the way that it looks. Here are some weekly spreads that I did. This is when I would fit it all on one page, and I do like how this looks. I feel like it forced me to really think about what tasks I could actually get done in a day. That's a reality I'm really struggling with right now. So for that reason, I really like the spread. Again, I like that it's all of the page is used up. That was really a big thing for me when I first started my bullet journal. Here's another weekly spread. I incorporated habit trackers. I really enjoyed having a quote at the top of my weekly spread as well, just to kind of look back on and to help me stay motivated. I was using a color code system so that I could categorize what tasks meant what, if it was a personal task, if it was something for the podcast, if it was something for my sticker shop, content related, and that's something that I still do to this day. I also had this little page right here, just a quote from a book that I was reading at the time by John C. Maxwell, and then this cute postcard from one of my pen pals. Something that you'll see a lot of in this bullet journal is video outlining. Specific topic related videos, I really tried to break down what it was that I was talking about, if there were certain products, comments that I wanted to make on certain products, and on this page I was trying to keep a running list of video ideas. It's something that I didn't refer back to a whole lot, if I'm being honest, just because I was constantly having new ideas. Here is a collab podcast season 2 to-do list as well as a season 3 to-do list, just kind of keeping me organized with recording, editing, scheduling episodes, episodes. Here I just did a little journaling spread after one of my first paid brand collaborations. I just wanted to touch on, how I felt and obviously reflect on what I could do better. Here I tried a sort of vertical weekly spread, and this is something that I just can't seem to get away from. I really enjoy how this looks, and it just seems to help me see and organize all of my tasks most efficiently, and efficiency is what I'm going for. Obviously, I like to decorate my bullet journal, but we need it to actually be functional. I also started to incorporate some energy audits, and then still have the quote at the top, habit tracker, and then a little waiting on list. Here was a kind of a messy spread, and I think it's important to share these where it's not totally set up. I was trying to do my energy audit. I only did Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then just sort of like random notes. I did a brain dump here. Here is my wish list spread, and just wanted to have a place where I could write down all the things that I want, and it kind of helped me fend off that urgency of wanting to get that item right then and there. Putting it down on paper and giving myself time to think about it has definitely helped just rein in some of my shopping, so I'm super grateful for that. So I organized things into lifestyle, stationery, tech, fashion, beauty, and home. I will probably refer back to this even though I'm in a new bullet journal. I like the way that I set this up, so we'll continue to update this list as time goes on. Here I tried one of those like rapid log style of monthly planning. Not really quite sure what it's called, but instead of a traditional monthly calendar, I had events listed on the left, the to-dos listed on the right, any like big deadlines that I had, and then of course the month and the days of the week. I like how this spread turned out. I like the forest green and brown, looks very nice. Here's a fully filled out weekly spread, and again, I like that I used as much of the paper as possible. There wasn't really wasted space, but what I've learned is that it's okay to have space. Space can be pretty meaningful when you're putting together your spreads, but I was just kind of going through a phase where I wanted to fill up as much page as possible. Again, here's another weekly spread with that energy audit, a little bit of reflection at the end of the day, still retaining the same basic elements, quote, the little post tracker, habit tracker, a waiting on section, and of course the tasks during the week. I meant to title these notes, but I never did. This was a webinar by Jim Quick, and this was one that was hosted by Anthony O'Neill. So they were both really valuable webinars, but I just didn't go back and title those pages. And then again, for October, I tried that running list, and it worked because it was an easy, simple setup. However, I did move back to a traditional calendar, I think after October. Really liked tracking things in my bullet journal, and not to the point where I wanted to be obsessive about it. It just really helped me organize my thoughts, and that was my primary objective. So here is a podcast post tracker, just trying to figure out what I needed to post and really flush out those ideas. And then I tried to do one for my own content. As you can see, it just it will typically fall off at the end of the month, and that's the case for some more iterations that you'll see in the upcoming spreads. Here I did a really refreshing spread, or what I felt was refreshing to me. I steered away from how I set up my previous weekly spreads and used my printable bullet journal kit. I had a lot of fun, just kind of something different. Here I tried to do an October spending spread, and this is mostly tracking like personal and business related expenses. And then on the right side, I tried to do the $1,000 project, where you manifest, create, and generate an extra $1,000 of income. I never committed to this, so that's why this page is blank, but it's something that I would like to try again. I just don't know when I will have the time or the mental space to tackle it again. A habit that I sort of developed during my time in bullet journaling was writing in all caps. It was just easier for me to keep things uniform, and now my actual lowercase print has suffered a lot because of it, but my all caps print looks pretty good, if I do say so myself. Here's some more video outlining, some content planning. Here I have a spread that I started with all of your fountain pen ink suggestions. If you haven't seen those videos, I'll have them linked in the cards and in the description box below. I just needed a place to keep track of all of your guys' ink suggestions, and this is a list that I will reference for whenever I'm ready to try a new ink. As you can see, there are a ton of them. You guys have left me with some really awesome suggestions. The only one that I've tried on this list is Konpeki, and I did a little swatch to the left. I'm still working through ink samples in my collection, but I'm definitely going to check out the things that you guys have recommended to me. Here's another weekly spread that's a little bit different from my previous spreads. I think I was just trying to keep things fresh. I don't love how it turned out, but you know, I appreciate the effort, and I think that's something to remember when you're bullet journaling, is that you don't need to conform to one style. It's the beauty of bullet journaling. You can be flexible and try new things, and if you don't like it, you can change it for the next one. So here's another weekly spread. This was a short week, so I only did Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then I had a packing list because we took a trip for my birthday weekend. And then we're in November. I pasted in a little birthday card and then did a little cover page. And here's where I started to simplify. It may not look like it, but here's where I started to simplify some of my monthly setup. Just for comparison's sake, let's flip back to August so you guys can see. So with August, you know, I had my monthly calendar, I had a don't forget section, a chore tracker, a post tracker, but for November, I decided that all I really needed in terms of functionality was to have a monthly calendar. And then of course, I did decorate it. I had this little rose picture that was sent to me by one of my pen pals, and then I put a little quote here, but I didn't try to stuff too many elements into this spread. That's a concept that sort of carried over with me into some of my following spreads. So here are my weekly spreads. I think for November, I was trying new things, didn't love it. Here is a little spread of just randomness. I was taking some notes for gifts that we were purchasing, and then when my sister so kindly gifted me my Twisby Iris, she gave me the little note that came with the order, and I pasted it in here and made a cute little spread. Trying to play with wax seals here. This was way after the fact, going through my bullet journal trying to figure out, oh, is there any blank space, and just you'll see this random blob of glitter glue throughout my bullet journal because of that. Still trying to figure out a new system. Just wanted to change things up. I'm looking at it, I'm not quite happy with it. That's the evolution. You just kind of have to play around and see what works and what doesn't. Here's some more video outlines, another post planner that just did not work. More video outlining, another weekly spread in November. I have to say that I just did not enjoy any of my weekly spreads in November. Oh, no, I lied. This one, I finally went back to the vertical planning, but I think this was Thanksgiving week, so a lot of it just kind of was blank towards the end. And then November going into December, so same vertical spread. I didn't go back to the energy audit. It looks like I just have my tasks and then a little blurb of how the day went. I collaged some Christmas cards in here. This one is from my dear friend Danny, and then I went ahead and put the Christmas card that my husband and I put together to give to our loved ones. December, we really took that more simplified, minimal approach to the monthly calendar to heart, because I just have the calendar, the name of the month, and a few cut out hearts, some washi tape. We're done with it. I'm not sure if it was also around this time that I was just wanting to simplify my entire life, but I think this reflects a value of mine, at least how I feel in my current state. So it's interesting that that sort of is reflected in my bullet journal spread. I said simple, but here we are filling up the pages again. I really enjoy that look where you just kind of open up a page and you see all the spaces or as much of the space filled as possible. Here's some more content planning, video outlining, another weekly spread. Here I have a to-do list / brain dump. I'm actually still referring to this. I also decided to make a little spread for my air plant and care instructions. My mama gave me air plants during Christmas, so just wanted to have this information handy. Another weekly spread, and then more collaging of Christmas cards. I had a lot of fun doing this. Just something different to break up the weeks. And this was the last weekly spread before the new year. So I went ahead and set up my year at a glance. I have all the months at the top and just important dates that I need to keep track of. I really like how this spread turned out, and I was debating on whether or not I should try to replicate it in my new bullet journal, but I already set it up here and have decided that I'll just refer back to this notebook if I'm looking at the full year. I'm not sure how that's going to work out, but we're gonna at least give it a shot. Here's a spread of me and my husband at the beginning of the year on January 1st, and then just some themes for 2020 and 2021. And surprise, we have another set of blank pages. I just have a tendency to do this. It's not as though I plan a lot of my spreads in advance, but when I do, I will do this, and I do have an explanation for this one. So I have some quarterly goals set up on the previous spread, so this is actually for Q4, which hasn't happened yet. So I will refer back to this notebook once we hit Q4 and I need to do some more specific goal planning. These next two spreads are just for fun. I wanted to track the books that I read in the year. As you can see, I only have one listed, The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel, which, by the way, it is amazing. I'm gonna link it in the description box below. I know we don't talk finance on this channel, but it's such a powerful book. I really, really enjoyed it, so I highly recommend you check that out. Feel like it's applicable to everyone. And this spread is dedicated to cataloging the shows and movies that I watch in 2021. So like The Queen's Gambit, The 100, Attack on Titan, Terrace House, Jujutsu Kaisen. And something that we recently started watching that I need to go back to add to this list is Peaky Blinders. Ideally, I would like for both of these spreads to be balanced out, but as you can see, it's a little one-sided right now. And I think the reason is it's because I can watch with my husband. I don't necessarily read a lot with my husband. Lately, I've been trying to read during my lunch break. So that's kind of how I've been fitting reading a little bit more into my day-to-day. Here, I wanted to do a 2021 playlist, but I'm not really sure. Not really sure if it's worth coming back in to do, but I have the pages bookmarked in case inspiration does strike. And here's the first spread of the new year. I set up my January cover page. This was a lot of fun to do. Definitely pushed me creatively. And then same simplified monthly calendar. Weekly spread is still the same. Here are some notes that I was taking while editing some episodes for the podcast. And here is kind of a painful page to talk about. I've been trying to troubleshoot my Cricut ever since I set it up, and I'm getting this result where it's not cutting center. I'm not getting accurate cut lines, and it's probably because I am trying to do it as a borderless print. So there's just sort of some hack stuff involved. Would really like to make it work, and not gonna drone on about it, but probably talk about it in an upcoming studio vlog if you want to hear more about that. Another weekly spread, and here is my stationery declutter checklist for when we did our stationery declutter challenge. As I mentioned earlier, I think, there was an angst to simplify, and that's why I think my monthly spreads simplified, because that was just radiating from the desire to tidy my space and simplify that. The Discord for this challenge is still available, so if you want to work through it yourself and download the checklist, I will have a link to that in the description box below. Another weekly spread, more video planning, another weekly spread, more video planning. And now we're in February, still carrying over that same little cutout for the cover page. And then I created a little February goals page. February monthly calendar. My NaNoWriMo spread that I loved, but unfortunately did not complete because, again, I still have so much on my plate, and it pains me that I still have so many pen pal letters to reply to. I do really enjoy pen pal correspondence. It's a matter of trying to fit it into my schedule. If you want to write me, I do have my PO box listed in the description box below, but be forewarned that it will take me a while to reply. So just please be patient with me. Here's another weekly spread. I tried to start planning my content down here, and it worked for the time being, but it's not something that I do in my current weekly spreads. Here we're collaging some more cards that I received for Valentine's Day, and just a thank you card from my sister. More weekly spreads. And here's my March cover page, my March goals, and then another monthly calendar. This one was a little bit more involved in terms of its aesthetics, but we still have the monthly calendar and just a space to write any notes. Here's where I tried to change things up a little bit. I'm not sure that I love the way that I set this up, but I think I wanted to try something different, and this is what I ended up with. I'm not sure if it's the color scheme or what, but I do like the way that this turned out better than the previous one. I'm not really sure why that is. And then again, same setup. It's not a setup that I'm currently using, but you know, I tried it out and it worked for the time being. Here are just some notes from a rebranding meeting, and then a blank page, which I do have quite a few of them at the end of this bullet journal. Here's a little reflection as to what worked, what I liked most in this bullet journal, and what I would want to try again. This was something that you guys recommended that I do before I jumped into my current bullet journal, and it really helped put into perspective how I wanted to approach this next phase of bullet journaling. I know the blank pages at the end might irk some people. I know that it irks me in some ways because it feels like I didn't actually complete this notebook. But the reason why I jumped into a new bullet journal before this one was completely full was because I approached the end of the month and didn't want to flip between two notebooks. It would have just been too crazy. Here's a pen test page, and then some perforated pages that I haven't used. Maybe I'll use them in the future. I think another reason why I'm okay with a couple of blank pages left in this notebook is because I'm technically still going to refer back to it. I have a lot of staple spreads in here that I chose not to migrate in my current bullet journal. So all in all, I'd say it's pretty much done. And this is, there may be a few minor spreads that I add in here, but nothing major. This is really the bulk of what my bullet journal, my very first fully filled bullet journal, what it looks like. I learned so much from my first bullet journal, and I know that I'll continue to learn so much more in my next one. I think my biggest takeaway from what is now a really chunky notebook full of bullet journal goodness is to accept the reality of changing our minds. It's a quote that I ended up writing in one of my later spreads towards the end of this bullet journal. It applies to so many areas of my life, including bullet journaling. I accept the reality of changing my mind, and that's why the bullet journal system is working for me right now, because it's so flexible. I can change my spreads week to week or make little incremental changes as I go, and for that reason, I'm gonna keep bullet journaling. I would love to hear from you guys. How long have you been bullet journaling, or do you have a different planning system set up? Let us know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and feel free to share it with a pen friend who you think might also enjoy it. Don't forget to subscribe and to turn on those notifications. That way you don't miss any of our videos. I do my best to upload here every Wednesday at 8 a.m. PST, so please take care until then. Feel free to enjoy these 2 videos linked here on the screen. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye!